Hi folks, hope you're doing well. Just saw a new Secret Santa. It was a flashback video apparently. Secret Santa flashback, so it's one that's happened previously. No idea when previously had been. No idea. Let's have a look here. Oh, 2016 this happened, okay. It happened in 2016, okay. Well, in this one, they actually had a choir come and sing to the lady. She lost her husband. Her husband died only a few days earlier. Her husband was on a ladder doing work around the house when he unexpectedly fell. Well, that's a stupid word. Unexpectedly? You don't expectedly fall, do you? He hit his head, suffered a traumatic brain injury, and died a few days later. Terrible situation. Absolutely awful. But that's why, when I did the video last night, that's why there was emotion there. That's why there's anger there. Because what's the purpose of it? The purpose of it is for people like him, people like her, the husband and the wife. Husband Michael is either now in heaven or hell, we don't know. He's in one of those places, hopefully heaven, but you never know. We don't know how he lived his life or how he chose to be as a person. Yeah. She's now left down to it, and she would need, over the last 4 years, she would have needed a strong church to help her, a good church. A good loving church that was functioning in the way that God wanted it functioning to bless her and help her to get through that, because that would have been a 5-minute situation to get over that. A few days after falling off the roof, your husband dies. Yeah. He's there just doing some work around the house. 2 days later, he's dead. There's been worse examples on these videos. Yeah. Some people just drop dead. Others have died at work. Others have died. There was one one, wasn't there, where the lady and her husband were in the I don't know what you call it. In America, a garage, we call it here, where you park your car. What they call it over there, I don't know. But there, and he went out into another room to do something, came back, and the little infant was kneeling down next to Mum. Mum had just dropped dead. All of a sudden. Was there, then gone. Oh, jeez. How do you cope with that? How are people supposed to cope with that? That's what it's about. As I said, the harvest is ready. Yeah, there's a massive harvest there. And all these people are desperate for God. And in the end, we need to make sure people are ready, because you never know when your time's up. That's the reality. Reality is you never know when your time's up, because your time's up at some point in time. Gone. From you being there to being gone can be just click of the fingers. That's it. Your life's over. As I said before, we are in fragile bodies. That's the reality. Incredibly fragile bodies. Our bodies can give way at any moment in time. Anything can happen. If you drive your car you could be in a car crash. If you walk on the road, you could be hit by a car, or you could be in the car crash where two cars crash, one of them flips over and smashes into you. There's so many ways that our body can be crippled and that we could be killed. So many ways. I mean, in certain countries, certainly you live in America, chances that you could die through bullets is quite heavy. Quite heavy in a country that loves the gun. I mean, absolutely loves the gun. Then, yeah. But as I say, when that is the case, when you can be snuffed out so quickly, you need to be ready. You need to make sure that people are right with God. That's the first point to discuss in this video. The second point to discuss in this video is this COVID situation. Yeah, I mean, certainly in the UK, one must say that it should be criminal, really, for the local governments and the national government to keep locking people down. It should be a criminal act, really. Because not only are they stopping people from living, the amount of trouble they're causing people is incredible. Anyone whose business fails should be suing the government. They've got every right to sue the government over this. Well, they have, because if the government has said, we're locking down because if we don't, then A, B, C, D, and E will happen, when it's then proved within days, before the lockdown even happens, that A, B, C, and D are lies, but they then still lock the country down. But then if your business fails during that lockdown, you have every right to sue that government who's done that. Every right to sue that government or that local government. Of course you do. Because they've made it impossible for your company or your business to function. And they've done that based on lies. So even if they've done it out of fear, they've got to be taught you can't govern out of fear. There are consequences to that. If there are consequences to us, there must be consequences to you, the decision makers. Now, looking at it another way, we now know that from today, certainly Scotland will be locked down for 3 weeks. Basically tier 4, they're calling it. So, okay. Now, if in this 3 weeks' time, if their plan was that we're going to vaccinate every single person who is most vulnerable, all those people are going to be vaccinated by the end of that 3 weeks. After that 3 weeks, we're going to open everything up completely. And we're going to say, okay, no more conditions. We're opened up now. From now on, we're going to keep vaccinating people, and we're going to go from the most vulnerable downwards according to health conditions and age, and we're going to work our way downwards to the least vulnerable according to health and age. During this time, it's up to you as individuals to take responsibility for your own life. Understand COVID is still there, so therefore, be sensible. Still wash your hands when you come into contact with people or things that people could have come into contact with. Still wash your hands. Still wear a mask if you're going out into an area which is highly populated by people. You decide whether you want to go into these areas. If other people aren't wearing a mask, then you decide whether you want to go there. But again, businesses can dictate whether masks should be worn in those places. But now, as a country, we're not going to dictate that anymore. Now, we're going to say, look, it's up to you. Now, there will be cases of COVID, and those cases will rise. However, we've dealt with the most vulnerable people. Now they've been vaccinated. So therefore, even though the cases will rise, we don't need to stress about it because it's these vulnerable people now. So the chances that people are going to die from it from now on are slim, and they're going to get slimmer and slimmer and slimmer. %3%. Without vaccinations, 3% of those who got COVID died from it. Now, that's not terrible. It is terrible for the 3% and for those who are related to the 3%. Let's never forget that point. Of course, that's terrible. But if you're talking about a virus being deadly, it ain't that deadly, really. So if the politicians were doing that, saying that, you could get behind them. You could say, fantastic, 3 weeks? Okay, no worries at all. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll accept that for 3 weeks. No worries, because then we know after that 3 weeks, things open up because there's a purpose to this 3 weeks. Problem is there a purpose to this 3 weeks? Has the Scottish minister actually thought of what they're going to be doing in this 3 weeks that's going to be helping the situation? Is there a plan? No. I don't think there is a plan. So again, there therefore has to be consequences. There has to be. If during these 3 weeks, as I said just now, if during these 3 weeks your business goes down, sue not just the government, but Nicola Sturgeon as well. Sue her. She's a decision maker. Sue her. She's basically running Scotland like a, what's it called? Dictator sort of situation, really. So therefore, sue her. Take action against her. Guarantee you one thing. If a number of people start doing that, they're going to be a bit more careful about decisions that they make. They're going to start thinking a bit more into it a bit and maybe start planning, okay, if we're going to lock down for 3 weeks, maybe we should use that time wisely to try and make sure we don't have to keep locking down. Because if people are going to sue us, and the more people sue us, then all we need is for those people to join together and we'll be in massive trouble as a government. Huge trouble. And the UK, I've got to say, I think the British government have been stupid. What they should have done with Scotland, they should have said, right, okay, this will be your budget now for the next foreseeable time. This is how much we're going to give you. We're not going to give you any more. If you decide that you want to use that up on this, that, and the other, you go for it. So furloughing people is down to you. Wales, Scotland, Ireland, you furlough people. We're going to give you the money. You can use that money however you want, okay? Because you've got all these areas that say, we want more power. We want more devolution. We want to be more independent from the UK. Well, okay, let's see how you do. Shall we? Let's see how you do. Because the amount of people that say, oh, Scotland's doing really well with Nicola Sturgeon because she's now giving free sanitary towels to women. Right. Ask these people the simple question. How are they going to pay for this? We don't know. If they're going to use money for this, they're going to have to take it away from something else. What are they taking it away from? We don't know. Well, don't you think you should know if it's a good idea? And of course, women think it's something that should have happened years ago. Why? I mean, maybe it should. I don't know. Look, I have no idea. Should it have been available on the NHS in the sense of prescription? Maybe, because most other things are for health. Yes, they are. But that's another point, isn't it? Yeah, Scotland wants independence. If Scotland had independence, it wouldn't have a national health service. It wouldn't be part of the British National Health Service, would it? It probably wouldn't even have a TV signal, because apparently BBC claims that a TV signal belongs to them. So if the BBC owns the TV signal, then there'd be no Scottish TV. In theory. Well, we could use the same fear, couldn't we? They like to use fear about COVID. We could use fear about all that sort of stuff, couldn't we, really? Isn't that what people are doing with regards to Brexit, though? One side would use in fear, so another side would use fear in the opposite way. Or exaggerate claims, because one side exaggerates the fear, the other side exaggerates the claims. But folks, that if you are being impacted by COVID, and if you are being impacted by the decision making of the governments, well then, yeah, you should be thinking of taking a class action, starting a class action against the government that has put your business in this situation. Because generally speaking, it looks as if the British government and the Scottish government and the Welsh government have certainly massaged figures massively to lockdown, to keep people in lockdown, which of course is going to destroy businesses. What they should have done, I don't know. I've no idea. At the time when COVID started, I was not in a position of power, so therefore I didn't have to ask God what should be done. They were, and they should have done. But they didn't, did they? So there you go. Oh, and there was an explosion in Tennessee, wasn't there, also? Which, again, a lot of people were saying it could be a terrorist thing. And it could simply be that it was a camper van, that someone was living there, they were doing cooking, and the gas canister in there exploded. Because they found what could be the remains of a person. Well, it could be the person who owned the camper and was living there. A lot of people are jumping to conclusions because, of course, you've got the Trump supporters, and there's all these people that sort of think there might be some sort of attack coming. So, of course, this thing happens. Oh, that was the attack we were thinking. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe not. Let the police do their work. Calm down. Let the police do their work. And figure out what's going to happen, because we don't know what happened there. We don't know what that was about. Again, God knows, but we don't. It certainly is a case that the camper vans, fires in camper vans and exploding gas canisters are fairly common. They're not that uncommon at all. especially if it is an older camper, which it looked like, and yeah, the gas canisters hadn't been replaced for a while. Yeah, if it is all old equipment and old lines and stuff, then it's quite possible that something went wrong. And it's a person just trying to cook some food or heat their camper, and bang. People were saying it sounded like a bomb. It would. It would. Those campers going off, yeah. Like if you're anywhere near it, if you're inside that camper van when that thing goes off, you're gone. Brings us back, doesn't it, to the first point. That you never do know. Yeah, it's quite likely that Tennessee situation is just some poor innocent person, just trying to live in a camper and end up dying because, yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, put it this way. If you've got a camper van and you have an MOT, does the MOT cover all of the cooking facilities and all that sort of stuff? All of the pipes and all the systems in for heating, all that? I wouldn't imagine it would it? Really? Should it? Yeah. Absolutely, it should. But whether it does, I don't know. I mean, if you're not actually cooking food for other people, then local government is not really interested in whether your system is safe, etc. For MOT, it's usually about the vehicle itself, brakes and all that sort of stuff. Is the vehicle safe to use? But only safe with regards to driving, that sort of stuff, not with regards to living in. I mean, I think if there isn't provisions there to test all that sort of stuff to make sure that stuff is safe, there absolutely should be. Of course there should, yeah. So, I think in time we may very well find out that that's what that was. No idea. You take care, God bless, and I will speak to you soon. Bye bye.